Saint. It's your morning marijuana moto up early. When I was a kid, I would sleep the fuck off of my life, man. I was sleeping it away. I'm not joking. I'm waking up at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and now I'm up at 6 a.m. This is 7 a.m. in Las Vegas, shining already, screaming at a phone, going for my morning walk. And this morning is no different. We have to get our minds right. May the 4th be with you. Today's the 4th of May, 2022. But most importantly, there's Waldo. He said nerd. Oh, I'm being called a nerd early this morning. Well, hey, we're going to talk about that kind of force. We're going to talk about the force that's within us and the external forces that we put inside of ourselves. There's so many things. Look at my shoes now. I got my sandals. I got my hoodie on. But part of the challenge is, where do we put our force? Most people don't want to talk about it. They just want to force other people to do things instead of forcing themselves to be a new thing. And that has to be said on the morning marijuana motivation, for we have put so much energy into external things. What kind of car I got, what kind of house I got, what kind of clothes I wear. Cool, somebody's already walking and running this morning. That's beautiful. To why am I still acting the same way that I'm acting? Why is it so hard for me to change? And what about my habits am I married to? And that's why I called it Saints Edition. It's not going to be easy to have that kind of conversation with yourself. A lot of the conversations that I read, the questions are quick, but the answers are slow, right? Like when you ask somebody, what do you want to do with your life? That's not something you just fill in a bubble and just say, hey, I want to be a janitor. Like said no one ever. No. What I'm talking about is a real, look how smart this girl is. I told you she was running this morning, and she's waiting for the light to change so she don't get hit. That's fucking smart. So part of the genius of being alive is figuring out yourself, right? We literally have no information, which confuses us, to a brain that processes a lot. And when we're processing our lives, right, the conversation had deep within, what am I doing, right? Like, what the fuck am I doing with my energy, right? This is the force that's inside of us. Oh, plastic pocket challenge, always good. The force that's inside of us, what do we use with our life force? Do we use it for good? Are we out there damaging others? And that's the question of the day. You got to ask yourself, what do I do with my force? Mais força, as they say. A lot of force in Portuguese, we have the ability to, be great people or be scared people, needs to be said. We have the ability to manifest great things and put force behind things that people never even thought were possible, right? And then we have the ability to put a lot of energy behind fears and misunderstandings. And that's why the conversation had happened this morning was, I'm going to go deep, always go deep in the morning, but have you ever said it's too good to be true? Have you ever been in a situation where you fucked it up because you didn't believe in it? And a lot of us, we subconsciously, this is, again, that flicker inside of our bodies, inside of our minds. It's the other rooms that are empty. With the light on, sure, you identify everything quickly in the room. The light's off, and there's dark areas inside of us that we don't really have conversations with. We haven't really asked ourselves, why do I date the people that I date? That's a tough question. It's not easy a bubble to fix up. Plastic pocket challenge. And that's the question of the day, is why do you do the things that you do? Humans are habitual creatures. I got you. Humans are habitual creatures, so I got you, bro. Humans are habitual creatures, and we end up doing things habitually without even knowing it. And that was the shock, to wake up from unconsciousness into consciousness and say, oh shit, I'm walking right now. I just woke up and now I'm walking. That's what it feels like, right? It feels like an awakening inside of ourselves where our now dark rooms are lit. We've put electricity in them. And that's something that most of us don't want to do. We don't want to search into the dark rooms. We don't want to go into our consciousness and say, you know, maybe I'm dating these type of people because I want to recreate moments. That was something I've done in my past where we subconsciously do that. We go back to our childhood ways or traumas and we want to relive moments with our parents, both relationships with our mothers and fathers, with friends, you know, as if we can do a do-over. I know I've been doing this recently, especially with my festival. I wanted a do-over because that's when my child was born. And I felt if I could get that kind of energy back, I could recreate the moment. And I've done it multiple times in New Orleans and my festival. I'm being honest. Are you going to be honest? Are you going to be honest about the way your actions and your energy is being displayed? What you put your energy behind, you know? Who you are shouts so loudly, I can't even hear you. Get him, man. Shit, get him. So in our worlds, in our minds, we can create walls that the fictitious beliefs that we can stick to. It needs to be said because we don't say it. It stays inside of us. And these limiting disbeliefs, because it's not in belief of yourself, it's a disbelief. They're limiting because now you're giving yourself the reasons why not to be successful. Now, all of a sudden, it's up to someone else instead of me. And that's something that really shocks me to my core, and something that we do inside of our core, but we have conversations with ourselves. They're not on CNN, but the moment you're inside your head and you start telling yourself a limiting disbelief and reinforcing it, now you're believing it. And just like Les Brown was talking about yesterday, I don't know if you guys got the chance to do it, but how many of us talk ourselves out of it? How many of us say, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough friends, I don't have enough connections? I can almost feel the excuses roll off my tongue of things that are justifiable to other people, but you can't justify it to your death. And you can't justify it in your deathbed. The reason like life was born into your lungs and you were alive, and you gotta love your life, you know, out in the open with the fresh air and the birds. I'm grateful when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, holy shit, I'm still alive. You know, maybe inside my soul's dead, but my heart's still beating. I'm still breathing. I'm still walking. I'm still talking. Something is happening for me to have this force. My life force is still inside me. And when we have life force, we can use it as a force. We can actually put an energy out there and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do with my life, right? This is what I'm going to do while I'm alive. And how many of us do anything with our plastic pocket challenge? No, we stay in fear. We'll straight up convince ourselves of things unreal, unreal fears that we want to make real so we can justify why we never did anything. So you can tell the excuse to yourself and your soul. You can tell it to your friends too, but you can't tell it to life. Life's not going to give a shit. It's going to keep going. Days go by, and you have the opportunity to live every day. Who does it? Who's going to get up and say, I'm going to live this day? I'm going to figure out a way to live this day and live this life to my full capabilities. Most people aren't doing that. They're on some, let me find an easy life. Let me find something without drama. Let me nerf the world. And I realized quickly I was wasting my energy on trying to protect myself instead of educate myself. Yeah, I must say that again. I spent a lot of energy trying to build a castle around me with the rocks thrown at me as if it was going to protect me from the next rock being thrown at me. That's a weird belief, but that's what we do. We go inside of ourselves and go, okay, well, as long as I put a sign on my front door, no one's ever going to break into my house, right? Bullshit, bro. You can put AET, whatever that brand is, or whatever brand you think you have on your wall, but it doesn't stop people from climbing your wall. It doesn't stop people from breaking in. And that's the delusion or illusion, plastic pocket challenge, the illusion or delusion that we possess inside of ourselves. Is this some cops over here? They look like police. But the illusion of delusion that we're under, that we can lie to ourselves or lie to others, the truth shall set us free. Whatever we put our energy behind will shout so loudly we can't even hear ourselves. There will be a reason inside of us that says, you need to get up. You need to do something. It doesn't matter what it does or if it makes money or where it ends. Plastic Pocket Challenge. The real key is to start. And I know a lot of people would love to have the effects of a healthy body, but they don't want to start dieting, or they don't want to start walking. They don't want to start anything because that requires change. Oh, it's so beautiful, all these flowers right here. And we don't want to force the change inside of ourselves. We'll let the force get quiet inside of ourselves. We'll quiet the voices down and say, how the hell did you cut the cap in half? Plastic Pocket Challenge. And so the conversation has to be with yourself. And you go, okay, self, what little limited disbeliefs do I keep whispering to myself to make sure that I keep myself down? What things are I'm unwilling to have a conversation with myself to change something about myself? A lot of people don't want to have conversations because it's a hard conversation to have. Again, what do I want to do with my life? Isn't a bubble you just fill out. What do I really want to do with this life force inside me is a really huge question. And that's something that we got to shine some light on. We can put some mice forza behind the ability to do something with our lives. And the ability is given to us, right? It's not, it's taken. It's like, we all have abilities and dreams and goals, but how many of us are after it? How many of us go, oh, my feelings got hurt? So beautiful, all these dogs right here. But training. But that's what we do. We start shutting ourselves down. We start building up mental walls and conversations with ourselves where only our voice is heard. And then we get stuck. We go, oh, well, I don't deserve, or I don't feel like I have the energy, or I started late. It's one of those where it is so cool. These dogs are desperate. That's me right there for the frisbee, bro. I'm like that. When it comes to frisbees, all I want to do is just play. Look, he dodged him. That's fucking cool. And that's what we do. We fuck up our opportunities by pre-believing a certain belief. It's almost like a religious thing, where it's like, I can't believe that because my religion won't allow me, or my consciousness won't allow me. Plastic Pocket Challenge, y'all. Plastic Pocket Challenge. It's everywhere. We use it frequently. And then we wonder why it's everywhere in our food. Because we didn't pick it up. Because we didn't pick up our moods. We didn't pick up our attitudes. We didn't pick up our concentration. We demanded change, but we didn't want to change ourselves. We didn't want to upgrade our current situations. There's so much data out there. I mean, people brought books for years. When was the last time you went inside the library to study yourself? And usually it's YouTube University. It's YouTube. It's you, inside you. And nobody wants to study themselves. They don't want to get in there and go, oh, shit, I keep dating narcissistic women because my mom's narcissistic. I'm just telling what I had. Or I keep acting like an asshole because my dad was an asshole. No shit. Where did my empathy go? I don't know. Why do I get angry with people? I don't know. Sounds like research to me, right? What am I doing that's a pattern in my life that I can take charge over and say, hey, this is my new pattern. My new pattern is going to be walking it early in the morning. Cool. A lot of people would say that, but as you can tell, it's just me and 3 folks in the whole green. This is a free park. There's free parks everywhere. There's free libraries. There's free books. And here we are, free to watch things on YouTube. Things on YouTube for free, but we won't put in the energy. And that's what ends up happening. We don't have the wherewithal or the desire strong enough to say, hey, let me put some more power behind me. We'd rather work another day. We'd rather work more hours and say, okay, give it to me now. I just need more money. And that's the attitude behind it, right? It's like financial knowledge, right? Most of us are just paying bills. Dollars for dollars, get more hours, my money goes up, more dollars go out. Little did anybody learn about savings. Good morning. And that's one of the things that they don't teach in school. You're not going to get somebody who's going to educate you on how to keep the money. They'll just tell you how to make more of it. Just go work more hours, go do harder things, hurt your body, destroy that kind of thing. And what I wanted to say was, be smart, be productive, be the type of person that says, hey, I can learn a new skill set. I can learn financial independence. Look at that dog, all healthy. You can do anything you put your mind to. We don't want to put our minds to anything. We want to stay numb and in Netflix and drunk and anything but feel our feelings. That's the hard part. Understanding what makes us free. And that's a whole line of psychology. I'm not asking you to go get a degree like me, but I am asking you to put a degree of effort in you. Put a degree of effort in you that says, hey, I didn't just exist. I existed more. I existed in detail. I said that I would do X, Y, and Z, and I kept my word. What does Les Brown keep saying? Keep your commitment to the commitment. Keep your commitment to the commitment. You said you were going to do something. Where you at, though? So many people are doing that again, that soft network where it's like, well, they don't really know me and they don't have access to me, so I'll just swipe left and I can disown and disavow and give up all my responsibility. And that's exactly what I won't want to do, right? That's not what we're going to do here. We're going to go and say, this is me. I need to know me more intimate. I need to know what makes me me. And that's such a huge dig inside of our lives to say, what makes me happy, truly happy, For me, it was Frisbee. For them, it's their dogs. I mean, I'm talking like real happy and free happy, not something where I have to go buy a Balenciaga bag and call it a day and then I'm supposed to be happy. No, sir. No, ma'am. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real happy, time you spend with your family. The reason you go doing all those crazy hours. That's what we do it for. There's some underlying undertone, something underneath it all that says, hey, I'm doing it for this reason. I'm doing it for this reason. And the reason is you. And the reason is you. Okay, so don't make me play some Incubus on your ass, but that's what it is. The reason is us, and it's always been us. For us to find out who we are throughout your whole life journey from zero to end, and also to go inside and say, hey, how do I be a better human? Very simple question, but a lot of people are just going like tortured by stimulus and emotion and misunderstanding because there's no education. And what's really happening is the future, the 21st century, has everybody on the case of knowing more about themselves. Apple said it themselves. They said out of all the products, the Mac, the iPod, this little Fitbit is the one that changes us all because now we know ourselves. Now we know we got high blood pressure, hypertension, the secret sauce that's inside of us all. Right? They finally just sequenced the whole DNA strand. Like we got to get artificial intelligence to track everything that's in every strand of your DNA and mine. What are the depression DNAs? What are the obesity DNAs? What are the anything about your DNA actually? What makes you you? And yet we're putting millions, billions of dollars to study our own DNA, but we'll only go do a swab to get a test of who we are. And it's going to be tough because relationships are the way they are. Their environment, the history of with the people, the attitudes, the personalities. And then all of a sudden, there's research. There's real DNA research to say, hey, you are exactly this many percentage of Indian or American or whatever the fuck you want to count it. The thing they don't do is break down, you are this susceptible to dating narcissists. You are this susceptible to overeating sugar. You're this susceptible to being lethargic and being a procrastinator. Most people won't have those conversations with themselves. They're not going to talk deeply into themselves and say, hey, you're absolutely right. I personally, Mark Saint, started dating narcissistic women because both my parents were narcissistic. it was a turn on for her, and it's my regular for me. We date people. Fuck, we even got dogs that look like us. That's really scary. We even have dogs that look like us, dude. Like, we date people that look like our parents. Is that not weird? Like, does anybody want to ask yourself what the fuck Freud was on about? You know, the Oedipus complex? That we are seeking for someone to love us like our mom loved us? That's a weird one. You know, that's some subconscious shit where you didn't even notice it. Me and my ex, we had the same nose, dude. We kept tripping out. We're like, kind of same skin tone and nose. And we're like, what is going on? What was I seeking? Or what was seeking me? Or what kind of energy I put out to get that kind of energy? It's a really good question to ask. And on the force, the May 4th, for us to be able to have a conversation with our force and say, what am I forcing? And what do I want to do with my life force? Our what do they call it? Magna? No. They call it magma? No. That's mana. You know, when you're playing video games, our mana, our life bar, right? That little colorful thing. What are we doing with our mana? You know, a lot of people, they just keep lowering the bar like they're in a fight and Street Fighter video game or something like that. We watch our bar just shrink down, right? And then all of a sudden we'll go look for some health heal me potions, right? I played Zelda. We've all done it. Looking for better swords, looking for healing potions, more points on the board, right? That's a video game, okay? In our lives, the healing potions aren't on the ground and easy to sip like a Zelda player. The healing potions are in walks, talks, and conversations with others. We're the healing factor. Still, above 5 times, 10 times over any pill, we're still a healing factor, but we degrade ourselves. We'll keep our whole network on a system instead of working our own network system. You know, we have, I don't know about you, but 5,000 friends or 1,000 friends or whatever you got on your friends list. How many of them can you call? You know, I mean, I'm flipping through mine. I'm all these friends and no one to talk to. And that's what we end up having. We have these soft networks where you identify someone. I know John, I know Paul, I know Ringo, John Paul Ringo, you know, but can I call them? Can I share with them? Can I partake my fear and excitement with them? That's a huge question. You're going to see that. And I'm learning it from FBI trials and, you know, people talking about lying and, you know, that whole bit. And that's what ends up happening is to detect a hater, somebody that has envy, you know, they don't want to see you succeed. You tell them something bad in your life and they'll have a little smirk on their face. Like you can watch it right the first second. They can't help but control it. Right? Or diminish something when it happens good to you. There's people that have envy and jelly. I've seen it. I kept talking about it where they reach out and go, man, you're healthy. Let me get some of it. You can't get some of it. You just got to get off your ass at 6, 7 a.m. and start. And that's something that we don't do. We watch other people start. I don't know about you, but you don't see it. But when you're watching the NFL or NHL or hockey, baseball, whatever, you're watching them work. That's what I watch. Me personally, I'll be honest, YouTube, Hoof GP, this dude's working. He's pulling in bulls, cleaning off their hooves. I'm watching it. I'm watching things get created in a process in a factory or people working. I'm watching them work. And I'm literally watching myself not work. Like if that's not the ultimate, what the fuck are you doing moment? That's what's happening. We are not putting in the work. We're not studying ourselves. The unexamined life, like Socrates would say, is not a life lived. You're going to have to go inside yourself and go, besides for me being happy in the park and playing with my dogs, what else makes me happy? Most people just play with their dogs. They don't play with anyone else. They don't put any sort of requirements on themselves. I see them. They're in their own separate pens. And it's like you could have had an opportunity to talk to someone else, another dog lover, just a conversation in general, but we don't. So now we're finding our happiness alone without sharing it. That's fucking crazy. Like that's so fucking crazy, man. Like that's all we do is go, like what's the thing called pie? No, Ipa? I don't know, but it's a huge Ramadan, part Muslim, part Hindu, I think, religion where everybody goes into the hills, man. It happens in Asia too, where actually right around this time too, Songkran, where the water festival leaves the whole city empty because they go to go see their parents. They go to go spend that time. It's kind of their Christmas, like ours, where we migrate, save up and spend to be near family and loved ones. We check in and say, hey, I haven't had my energy around you in a year, but hey, let's get together and check in. Let's get together and have conversations together so we can heal each other. Most people, again, would run to the dog, to the coffee, to the purchase, and try to heal themselves. We only go inside ourselves and just go, I'm the only one that can count on me. Oh, of course, light beer, the can. Another trash. But that's not what's happening. What's really happening is that we are emotional creatures. We do all sorts of things on repeat, and then we can't even define it. Like the guy was saying, 48 Laws of Power, he told himself, he said, I'm not going to write all these notes. Sure as shit, that's his writing style. 8,000 post-it notes later to write the book. He said, it's a waste of time, and that's not how I'm going to move forward. It doesn't matter. His compulsion pushed him to do something repetitively. We are so compulsive that we can't even stop ourselves. Like when you really want to, like, zip up your dick, bro. There's a compulsion for some people. Like I know what's inside me too. My sexual compulsion, where inside me I just want to have sex and feel good inside and share that feeling with someone else. That's a cop-out. That's me inside of myself saying things to myself like, hey, you want to feel good? Like that, hey, almost like a crack pipe. Hey, want to get high? And that's my favorite cartoon character of all time was Tally. But, is that what you want to do? You want to get higher? Or do you want to escape? Do you want to go higher or lower? The real truth of it is that we want to be number. Like, nobody wants to talk about it. Instead of examining it or putting it under a microscope and doing further research, they pushed it down. They suppressed it on their news feed. They just bottled it up and put it at the bottom of the Smithsonian. There's artifacts still being discovered in the Smithsonian. They've been documented. I was watching it the other day. Over 144 million species of every species. Like, it's a big deal. What else is a big deal? Curating. Identifying all these different items that are us. We're about as thick as a Smithsonian, right? Like, as many books, all the books of the world are in the Smithsonian. That's all the emotions of you are inside you, And how many times have you sat there and examined you? How many times have you had to sit down and talk to yourself and say, hey, you, you, hi, remember me? I'm your consciousness. I'm the thing that's been driving you to do the things that you want to do. Why are you doing the things you want to do? I don't know. It's a habit at this point. You like waking up at the coffee shop. How many of us do that? And we don't even know what we did the whole morning. Didn't even remember to brush our teeth. Didn't even see ourselves drive the car there. But boom, next thing you know, you're in your own reality as soon as that coffee's in your hand. That's what I'm talking about. This is such an Eastern philosophy, but that's what we do, or they do in Eastern philosophies. They check in. They're having conversations with themselves, their Buddha, their Messiah, whoever that they need to talk to, or themselves, right? Because we all have consciousness, to say, hey, let me slow down this mindless chatter. Let me slow down this externalness and go deep. Let me turn off the stimulus, turn off the Netflix, turn down the lights, turn up the fucking incense, and sit still. The stillness of it all. I was watching the guy talk about it, but he's killing the game. 35 years of acting, Johnny Depp is still. He's so still with his answers. He's patient with them. He's non-reactive. He's almost hurt, where he's just like the conversations, the answers are just no energy. He doesn't give the energy into the system. He's just playing the right role of his life, actually, and that's acting, right? That's acting as if everything's okay. They already did that damn thing. We do that all the time. We go, they're the best actors in the world pretending that their lives aren't abusive. It takes the light to shine on the darkness. It takes us to go, oh shit, women can be abusive too. Oh shit, there really is a hurt and a pain behind a defamation suit or slander or throwing shade. We like to put out this vibe that these guys have a perfect life, that they must be happy, they're so rich. This motherfucker got it all. 7 penthouses, hundreds of millions of dollars gone, and he can't get his girl to love him. Like, she's swinging on him and shit. What in the world did we go to? All of our heroes are flawed. Saint's addiction's real. I didn't just call it that, but it was like, I saw it. Jesus was holding a joint. You want to believe he's perfect. No one's perfect. We put these things on pedestals so we can assume that we're not doing good or that we're doing evil. There's both assumptions on both ends, but it's all dichotomy. There is no certain one thing. Like we were talking about the subconscious, the things we don't want to talk about. You're not going to go inside and say, hey, listen here, stranger, I got all these embarrassing moments. Let me share them with you. No, you've learned to keep them inside. You've learned to push them down. Another plastic pocket chop. Plastic everywhere. But that's what we do, We get inside of ourselves and we live inside this new reality, right? We made the walls. We put wallpaper on the walls. We designed a fictitious house inside of ourselves where we go, this is our protection mechanism. Since we were a child, 5, 6, 7 years old, we learned how to react to other people and keep it the same. And what I wanted to do was be different, have a new response rate, and say, all right, me, you, the conversation that we're having now, you're in control of you. Can you stop yourself from putting ice cream in your mouth, Marky Saint, you little sugar slut? I have. Did I really want to? About time I did. I got on the scale this morning going like, you're doing great with your exercises, but you're doing horrible with your diet. We are not having the right conversations with ourselves. Good. Les Brown, he'll talk to you about it, but it was like, not only being committed to the commitment, but it was also one of those conversations that you had with yourself to say, hey, who's in control of me, man? That's a huge thing. I came down to it and said, do I have the discipline? It's the D word, it's almost like a 4-letter word, but the discipline to control me. Me as a control freak, the OCDs control me, but do I control myself? Do I sit inside myself and say, okay, self, today's the day that you sit still and have a conversation with yourself, that you remove all stimulus and have real conversations with yourself. Again, not the bubble type conversations where it's a quick pass, but what do I want with my life? What do I want to manifest? What would really make me happy? Not in a fake happy, not my bills got paid and I still feel the same. I'm talking about the lifespan being enjoyed and fully, where there is no regrets, where you didn't leave your energy inside yourself for later date that won't ever get used. You used your body. You used your time on the planet. You use your mind. And that's what we keep telling people, make resources of things that we have. Relying on ourselves is one of them. I keep getting inside myself and going, why are you doing what you're doing, bud? Why are you so single, right? I had this opportunity, I had this conversation this morning, but I pushed another opportunity away. I got scared because I was in fear, and I pushed another person away. Now I've been watching the philosophies, the loss of seduction, and that's one of the gentleman's stories was that he was abandoned by his mother. He had no clue that he wanted to abandon other people so they didn't hurt him. Like, what? Yeah, like, this girl's too fat, this girl's into herself, this, that. Always pointing the finger. We all know, pointing the finger. It's got to be someone else, right? Lo and behold, inside job. Like, literally, this is all an inside job. And the way you treat yourself on the inside will be the job that you do. Are you doing a good job? Is it working for you? Are you doing the things that are in your capabilities so you can be a better human? That's it. Small conversation, but it's deep. And like I said, the answers aren't just bubbles and yeses and nos. No, it's going to be like reasons and understandings and real life, legit fucking sensations that say, hey, you inside there, you're the one in control. You wouldn't have to run to go get that sugar if you weren't feeling lonely inside. Oh, well, yeah, I had the conversation with myself. Are you angry? Are you horny? What is inside you right now? What emotions are popping inside your head to make you be this way or feel this way or act this way? And that's it. It's the be, feel, act of our lives. Like, we are all you know, conversations, this morning conversation, every morning I'm about to go get my blunt on, finish my 2 laps, but conversations with myself, my body, and my mind is, what are you doing this time? How are you going to improve the next time you're in love? Are you going to still pull the same shit and date the same type of people? It's a real conversation most motherfuckers don't want to have. They don't want to have the conversations of their lives that, am I brave enough? Is there spit on me? Yeah, I missed my spit. I just sent all over myself. Missed it. And that's the truth of it. I'm sick of missing it. I wanted to be in it. I didn't want to ruin another opportunity to have a child or be married or live a love life because I'm being scary. I'm scared of the outcomes, or I'm scared what would happen to me. I'm scared of love, scared to see it through. We know what's going to happen when we let fear lead. You already know what's going to happen when you let it bleed, right? If it bleeds, it leads. And that's just the stories of our lives. Oh, penny. More plastic pocket challenge, but stories of our lives where we thought something, made that thought a reality, and now it's our limited disbelief. It's not a belief. We didn't reinforce it with such amazing energy. What we started to do was disbelief. We stopped believing in ourselves. We stopped believing in religion. We stopped believing in another alternative. And that's a huge conversation that needs to happen with each other. It's like, what do you believe? And why do you believe it? And may the force that you put behind it be examined. May it be the type of thing where you say, hey, no more of this. No more of this kind of behavior. No more of this kind of self-sabotage. No more of this misunderstanding. What we're going to do is learn. And you're going to learn today. Oh, man. What a spark from the start. Get some water in here. Get your plastic pocket challenge on, y'all. Get the plastic off the ground and off the ocean. It's time we start helping each other. Let me take off this sweater. Hold tight. There's the water. Is it outside? Whew. Okay, it's in the fridge. Let's have this conversation again. Oh, man. Morning. This is life. Happening to us one step at a time. And boom, I'm in the game and hydrated. Look at this hair. Your boy saying it needs a haircut. I tried to go yesterday, get a haircut. My friend D discouraged me. Now I gotta find another way. To fucking rise and shine. Gotta find another way. My stinky pits and my stomach. This is part of the show. The realness of it. Man, I need a shower. The realness of it. Man, I need a shower. Man, I need a shower. Stinking ass. Man, I need a haircut. Stinking ass. Like the whole bit. It's all true. And to be true to ourselves. I spit in my beard. I'm gonna roll up. So I had a choice this morning. Right? Sit here, keep rolling weed, which is perfectly fine with me because I'm actually doing it right now. But take the opportunity to just grab my stuff, boy stinking, and watch my pitties on live, just so I could keep it real with people and say, hey, I'm human too, man. I'm human too. I need haircuts. I need showers. I need to brush my teeth. I need to make better decisions. And that's where we're at right now. Are we making better decisions? Are we actually inside of ourselves doing right by ourselves? Or are we still being destructive by ourselves? And that's the big question of the day. It's like, are you gonna help? A little help, like we used to say back in the day. A little help. The ball would go past you. A little help. We need a little bit of help. We need to help ourselves by making better decisions by ourselves. There'll be no one to help you but you. You're the only one that can really reach you
to have that conversation and say, hey, you know your habits, you know what's going on, what are you going to do about it? And normally most people are just going to be they're going to tap out to their perspective, addiction, or reason or habit. It's just the way it is. Powerless to the game. Shout out to Weed Club. Make sure you get your Weed Club card. Join Weed Club on Instagram. But I didn't want to be powerless. I wanted to be limitless. I wanted to have a reason for the season. As I started to unlock things like traveling the world and why am I abusive and all sorts of positive and negative, the research had to be done. It's almost like an oil spill. Some of these people are like, I can't launch satellites because of a certain fish or a turtle that's in the environment. Good. Finally, something small gets a little bit of attention. Something like your consciousness gets to have a conversation versus just keep plowing ahead and not having any reason for the season or any idea why we're doing what we're doing. There needs to be a time for reprieve, and that's exactly what I've been doing, is reprieving myself from such a tragedy. This child didn't do anything to deserve not having its life. My baby, as everybody's talking about abortion rights, it's part of it. It's not going to be easy conversation to have. I know there are women that just had children that get pregnant. I'm one of them. I'm an Irish twin with my sister. For 1 month out of the year, we're the same age. My parents did wait the full 9 months in between. Her first checkup, my mom's first checkup, was her being pregnant with me, or my sister. I was already born, but like, wow, or we think all births are good births and that they're healthy, happy births, and some aren't. But for a child that didn't do anything but be in the right place at the right time with the right opportunity to be born, our excuses, again, are our limited disbeliefs. We're going to tell ourselves, oh, I can't be with this person because they're abusive. That's a limited disbelief. You could have been with me and not had to deal with me. We could have still had a child. I know people that still have children and aren't together. How many of these people are functioning co-parenting, making their lives still go even out of bad situations? That's this kind of conversation. Are you going to keep making your life go and grow, or are you going to stop yourself and be stuck in your limited disbelief, stuck into the attitude that you were told to have, or you learned to have, or you want to have? And that's a whole choice right there. That's the May the 4th be with you. This is the choice to have an aptitude or an attitude. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what it comes down to. Are we going to just be moody and cantankerous and take our moods out on people? I know a lot of people that feel that's their right. My mom's one of them. I saw her do it the other day, yesterday. Started getting twisted and slamming things, and I went, no wonder why I have a temper. Some of us believe that it's okay to share it. It's okay to share our anger, to slam doors, and I'm frustrated, so let me make everybody feel uneasy around me. That shows a lack of control. And most people don't want to look like they're out of control, but that's what we do. We give our control over to our emotions. We give our control over to the corporations. We give our control over, instead of taking control of ourselves, and sit down and say, hey, you, shh, let's slow down. Shh, let's have a conversation. Shh, why are you doing this? And a lot of people have no idea why they're doing what they're doing. They might be even just to tell you the basics and just say, oh, well, I need a job to feed my kids. Yeah, you could feed your kids by being a farmer. Why aren't you a farmer? Well, I don't know. I just grabbed this job and it was the highest rate I could, and I just kept sticking with it. Well, what if you stick with what your passion is? These are like real tricky questions, but it's one of those where it's like, if I identify why I'm doing what I'm doing, then I can have a better reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I can say to X, Y, and Z, this is my reason for doing it this way. I wanted to come up with a different way. I wanted to sit there and go, why do these guys look so calm when they're meditating? How come I'm in a rush as an American, but all my Thailand teachers were calm as the other side of the pillow, cool as the other side of the pillow, calm like a duck on top of the water, where I'm splashing my ass off underneath? I feel this way. I feel that that's what we're doing, especially in Western culture, that we buy all these things, we go on all these trips, we're outsourcing everything, right, to someone else, But when it's time for us to have the answers, to look within, it's an empty conversation because no one ever dialed the number. No one's ever dialed themselves and say, hey, yo, who's upstairs? I don't know. Let's call. Who's running this show? I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here because my emotions told me to be. And you're like, okay, that's one reason, but why did your emotions tell you to do what you're doing? You're like, I'm not quite sure. I never really stopped to think about that. I never really stopped to think of what did I want out of my life. I never really stopped to think, what did I want to manifest? And this is why I'm stopping and making you think every morning in the morning marijuana motivation, because it's so important to have mental clarity. And say, this is the reason I'm doing the things that I'm doing. This is the reason I'm up this morning. You can say, oh yeah, you're up this morning because you want to be exercised, you want to live a healthy life and eat Cheerios and make your heart better and all that good stuff. It sounds like a commercial. What really is going on is I need my mental health. Mental health matters. We're looking at double-faced actors and people that perpetrate crimes and our criminal justice system. We have no clue what we're doing. We don't know how to discipline ourselves. We don't know how to discipline others. We don't know how to have healthy forms of control. We don't know how to have healthy forms of beliefs. We just keep building more prisons, arresting more people. And I said it the other day, but it's fucking the truth. Was the lady judge was seeing so many cases for arrests that it was over the limit of she was doing double the work of like a child social worker and all these other people's a police officer. She had so many cases in front of her. And she was doing the work of like 4 different individuals in the healthcare system. We're inundated with broken solutions. We need a better way to have conversations with ourselves and our lives and say, hey, you, what are you doing? What you doing? And oh, by the way, I'm creating options. I'm creating options with myself to not just be limited to the same belief and reaction that I've been having my whole life, but giving myself a new opportunity, a new belief. Here's one for all of the ages, but for the longest time, no one thought that, and the guy used this example in the book, but it's so true that a man, a human, I think women can do it now too, could not physically run a 4-minute mile. Now, 10, 20,000, I think even high school students have broken the 4-minute mile, but for centuries, we couldn't break the 4-minute mile. What happened? Did we become super athletes? Did we run faster? The Nike shoes, right? That's what happened, right? Right, okay. No, our belief happened. Once Homeboy broke the record, and I don't know who broke the record, but congratulations, you opened up a floodgate of belief. You open up a floodgate for even high schoolers, women, children, the people to start saying that this is the new reality. They really thought for the longest time that you couldn't move faster than horsepower. That if you get on a train, that you actually die while you're on the train because it was moving faster than a horse. No one in 5,000 histories had ever moved faster than a horse. And now was the steam engine, the locomotive, motivation, movement across the prairies, which used to be just buffalo and flat, nothing, is now human creation, is rail, it's commerce, it's movement. And that's what ends up happening is we don't create any movement inside of ourselves. We stagnate. We go, okay, hey man, I just want to be here, stay safe, and take no chances. Nah, that's not what it's about. We got to risk it. Just like the great old West, we got to go into the great beyond and intercontinentally link people, right? I mean, we're talking about the Great Siberian Railroad. We're talking about the Intercontinental Railroad. Like, this is something that was just the whole coast and energies and ideas coming together. That's amazing. That's amazing. Come together right now over weed. Shout out to Monkey Tail. Ben, you're amazing. You invented something. Somebody looked at something different and said, hey, I see an invention. And how amazing is that? To invent something in your head, it wasn't there anymore. Now everybody believes in a 4-minute mile. They believe in a wireless lighter leash. They believe in themselves. And what a shock that would be. That no matter what gets thrown at you, you're in it. All in, always. This is my new shirt, right? Don't turn it around now. We're already up in space. We're already on the moon. Guess we better do some research and take some photos. Get to a place where you're taking more than just selfies. Get to a place where you have a conversation with self. Am I spitting too much knowledge this morning? That's some knowledge right there. 2, stop taking selfies and start talking to yourself. Who am I trying to impress? Why am I not already impressed? Why am I not already content? Who do I need to impress? Why do I need to impress them? What am I doing? What are my reactions, my lifespan, my body, my hand taking this selfie over and over again? I heard Korea takes the most selfies in the world. What are we on about? To say that we exist? You know, it's a great way to show that you exist, doing the work. When you've lived with your heart and you are of service to people, you will be missed. You will be sadly missed. Because there's not a lot of energies out there like that. Most of the energies are playing it safe. I'm in my mom's apartment and they're all inside. I see a lot of people out in the park. I see a lot of people up by 6 a.m. I just see a lot of, the commerce picks up because people start going to work. But other than that, we start going to work inside of our minds. To start having the decent conversation with ourselves, to sit still enough to have real answers. No bubble answers, real answers. And you go, oh shit, that's why I was doing what I was doing. Without the stimulus of other things outside of me, without numbing the inside of me, I can sit and have a real conversation with you. That's an amazing thing to do. To have a conversation with self over a selfie. The expression that I am alive and just being alive. It's amazing to me that we can have these conversations with our consciousness if we choose to. And I wish I did. I wish I could just sit and fold them in instant lotus position and just someone could take the plug out of me. You're done arguing. And I just have to sit and sit and sit and sit still and be quiet and stop arguing and stop being forceful and stop being aggressive. That would have been amazing. Like if that dude showed up. That's not who showed up. The other dude showed up. The abusive side showed up. The one that's reactive instead of contemplative, instead of curious. I get combative, and I've been that way a lot in my life. And this is my lot in life to understand and fix. It's the job, right? My job is to be a better human being. Your job is the same. Most people think their job is their paycheck. I'm talking about passion over paycheck. I'm talking about the passion of our lives and saying, hey, I want to be better by the people that I love. I don't want to slam the car door because I'm frustrated and now my children are scared. I don't want to be uncontrollable. I want to be consolable. I want to be reachable instead of preachable. How many of us do that? Get the riot act, start preaching, but we won't take our own word. We won't get off the soapbox and be part of the seminar or the sermon and sit and have the conversation. How many of us are still in limelights because we want the attention so bad we don't care that we snatch it away from some other people or finish their sentences or assume what they're going to say or, guilty human. So to combat my guilt, I got to pick up plastic. To combat my psyche, I got to go for walks. And to combat my loneliness, I share. This is what I do. Also, what I do is I throw events so that it's not just one way. It's not just on a FaceTime. It's not just on a screen. It's not just for an hour a day. It's to make the network work. We talked about this yesterday, but this is a soft network. Once again, swipeable, not very hard concrete. But by the time you're in front of me and you spent part of your lifespan having that 5-minute conversation with me, now both of us cannot deny that the conversation happened. Do you deny, sir? Where were you at 9 o'clock last night? You got to have an alibi. And that's what we are to each other's. We're lies and alibis. We're exactly that. But when we get together, it's no longer timestamp, right? It's not on you posted and set it at 12:23 seconds. Nope. Now it's, hey, I remember you. You and I were talking about this that one time in band camp. You just created a memory. You just created a conversation. You just created a spark. And this is the part that I love, because once you're ignited, there's nothing that can stop a human being from creating and conquering and being all that they can be. Once you have found light and start launching, it is a trajectory almost unstoppable. Actually, I am unstoppable. I've seen so many things try to stop me. And it has to be said. An abortion almost tried stopping me recently. A prison bit in South Korea. Homelessness. There's so many things that almost stopped me. And I look at them all dead at my feet like a conqueror, like a Herculean effort. I don't know if you guys ever get to see the trials of Hercules. I think there's 7. He's got to fight a hydra, 7 heads. It keeps cutting off heads and heads keep growing back. Is that not our lives? Are we not? What did the guy say from 48 Laws of Power? He was so bored at work that he started classifying everybody as a Greek god at work, and what were their idiosyncrasies, and getting curious about them so they could know better. I mean, like, are you Zeus? Are you Athena? All these gods were all our personalities. Like, they were pretty accurate. How many of us commit adultery? How many of us are thieves? How many of us are liars? How many of us are haters? How many of us are vanity? That's literally what it is. Narcissus was drowning himself in his own love. That's what we're doing. As long as we got everybody else convinced, you know, that we love ourselves and that we're extremely happy, that's what works. Here to tell you, I'm working on my depression. I'm working on my haircuts. I'm working on my fallibilities. Saints got addiction. And saints got addictions. And in my addictions, I am flawed. Humanly flawed. Still chasing my tail like a dog. But I'm also woke. I woke up this morning. I'm up early like the sun, the light, the shine, and I recognize it. And it starts to balance out all the darkness. It starts to shine out the darkness, actually. And that's what music does. That's what love does. That's what knowledge does. And that's what we will call it the Renaissance, the age of enlightenment, for us to question ourselves and question our own realities and start shaping these things instead of just being a part of them. I hope you got some morning marijuana motivation out of this morning. I hope you start seeing that you are a part of your psychosis, that you're a part of your motivation, that you're a part of your excuses. There's something in it for all of us. And it's high time that we start doing something about it. It's high time that we start having the conversation of, who am I? Why do I do what I do? And how can I do better? Great conversations to have, great motivators out there, great videos to watch, but the intentions, how much work you put in you will show in your communication skills, in your relationships, in your outcomes, in your success level. So on my heart from the start, your boy Marky saying, I want you to reach your heart, touch it a little bit, please. Just feel it beat. And do something till it stops beating. That's your morning marijuana motivation. On my heart from the start, your boy Marky Saints Addiction. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. Any of the channels. First and foremost, Saints Giving. I'm giving an hour of my day, 10 minutes of shine, posting these things, sharing my dream with the world. This is part of it. What are you going to share with the world? What are you going to give? That's the real things. And are you going to do the work, the inside work, to be able to be a saint giving? Saints Giving, Saints Addiction, Saints Anarchy, Mostly Saints, prints by saints, shirts by saints, designs by saints, travel by saints, marketing by saints. All these companies and more all give to Saints Giving, so that way we can all make something out of these purchases, so we can do something with our consumerism. We can recycle, we can learn, and that's a blessing. Go be blessed, not stressed. I'll leave you with the shine. Right on time. I'll see you on the other side. Ciao.